What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with Americans living abroad. First time you realize America really messed you up. Part 3. It's like part 6 or something in our series, but part 3 in this one. I'm ready to dive right into it. Before we do, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media and Patreon all up top. If you want to subscribe to any of it, follow all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. I'm human. I talk back. If you got a favorite video suggest you can subscribe to Patreon, or in the description section there's a Google form link. Where we go?
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
Ha! This is easy. My sister and I own and run a successful business in Europe where we live. Literally every time we're in a car and we see a cop, we totally panic. We grab to make sure we have seatbelts on. We're looking around. We're freaking out. We're not doing anything wrong. We're driving the car legally. Nobody's drunk or anything. Everything's totally normal. But we have total and complete PTSD every time we see a cop and we're in a car.
What is one time...
I swear, I know what she's talking about. I don't know why. Like, I just get, like, my heart starts racing. It's not in fear of my life. It's not that. It's that I don't want a ticket. It's in fear of my pockets. In fear of my bank account is what I'm afraid of. And so every time, like, seatbelt on, I'm sitting straight up. I get right up on the wheel, 2 hands on the wheel. It happens every time. My heart just starts racing faster. So I understand what she's talking about.
But we have total and complete PTSD every time we see a cop and we're in a car.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Okay, I have type 1 diabetes and I lived in Costa Rica. The very first day that I was there, my insulin pump stopped working. This was like some weird fluke, unrelated to anything else. But I didn't have a doctor yet or really know where to go, so I went to a pharmacy because I needed to get long-acting insulin so I could still treat my disease. And when I went to the pharmacy, the insulin was $20 for a vial. In the United States, I pay $322 for that same vial. I also want to add that I got the insulin over the counter without a prescription. In the United States, I have to see my endocrinologist 4 times a year to get a prescription for a medication that keeps me alive.
American currently living...
What are we doing? What are we? She got it for $20 a vial. Here she is paying $320 a vial. It is cheaper for her to just go over to Costa Rica maybe 2-3 times a year and just buy up a lot of insulin. I'm not sure if you could bring all that back. Probably not. But it would be a lot cheaper for her to do that than to continue to pay here. And then you got to go see an endocrinologist. Is that what it was? So I'm sure that's even more money when you can just get it over the counter. No. I'm truly baffled.
A year to get a prescription for a medication that keeps me alive.
Wow.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
I was living abroad in the UK and I had a job interview. And of course, growing up in the US, you're conditioned to dress so professional, be prepared, have your resume, and all these things. So I was like that really much. And I remember walking into the interview and they were like, "Oh, wow, you look really snazzy." And I was like, okay, that first of all, I never heard that before in an interview. Then secondly, they didn't even ask me anything besides, "Hey, Kyle, would you like a cup of tea?" And I was like, okay. Never was asked that before ever in any other job interviews. We had a tea and we literally like sat and talked about all sorts of stuff, personal life, their life, and we just had a laugh for like 45 minutes. And right afterwards, they're like, "You're perfect for the job. You fit great." And it was really crazy to me, and it was a really fun experience. I wish the U.S. would just chill out sometimes a little bit more.
American...
Is that how it is, like, all over the UK? Y'all let me know in the comment section. Is that how it is? Is that how most interviews go, or was that just, like, a unique interview? I'm not sure. Because that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. You just get to sit down, talk about your personal life, talk about everything. Instead of walking into a room, suit, tie, everything on, handing in your resume, then you're being asked, what would you do in this situation if you were in this situation, or if you were in this situation, or if you were in this situation? It says here on your resume that you can do this. Can you also do this? Where'd you learn this? And you're just kind of being bombarded with questions. I feel like that's a dope interview he had. I love that. Keep it
It
rolling.
was a really fun experience. I wish the U.S. would just chill out sometimes a little bit more.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So, not currently living abroad, but I did study abroad for 4 months in Madrid. And I'm not going to get too much into the story. However, I ended up getting way too drunk and was taken to the hospital. I woke up, no clue where I was. I'm like, oh my God. I'm getting my stuff together and I'm asking the nurses, where am I? And they're explaining everything to me. And I'm like, well, how am I going to get home? I don't know where I am. I need to get a bus. The doctors and nurses were like, well, it's okay. We'll just grab you an ambulance. We'll tell us your address. We'll send you an ambulance home. I freak out. I'm like, I don't have the money to pay for that. I cannot pay for that. Oh my God, no, I cannot, no. They looked at me and they were just like, sweetie, it's free. Let us send you home. Yeah, that messed me up. And they gave me no bill either.
If you're in a
I'm laughing because I'm seeing in the eyes of them other people that were talking about calling an ambulance for, and they probably just looking at her like, what is going on? Calm down, It's no charge. It's no charge. And as an American, when you hear ambulance, you do start panicking because your mind, first thing it jumps to is bank account. It's like, no. I do not, whatever you do not call that ambulance. Whatever you do, I will find a way there. I will find a way there, but I cannot afford to pay for that ambulance, which is absolutely crazy, right? And so you're refusing help that you might actually need in that situation, but you refuse it because you know it'll put you in debt. That's a sad truth.
Yeah, that messed me up. And they gave me no bill either.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
So I am from Minnesota, but I live in Edinburgh. And at the castle, every day, there is a 1 o'clock gun. It's a cannon that goes off at 1 o'clock. And I know of it, and sometimes I forget about it. And when I do forget about it and I hear it, my impulse reaction is to think it's a gun or a bomb. And I want to get out of the area or XYZ, and then I'm like, oh right, it's a 1 o'clock gun. But one day I was heading from the National Art Gallery up towards Old College, and it went off, and I ducked. I went down to the ground in the middle of the street with tourists all around me, and then had to get up and continue on my way as if nothing happened. Yeah.
I know they were all staring at her she must be American. She must be an American. What is she ducking for? What, it rings at this, it shoots off at the same time every day. What is Oh, I love these.
As if nothing happened. Yeah.
That's
an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you?
This is just from studying abroad in the UK. We were at a public train station and you had to pay to use the bathroom, and I had never seen that before. And I was like, oh my God, that's messed up, right? They were like, yeah, but we don't pay for healthcare or college. Stop yelling!
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
Ooh, I've been waiting for this one. So at the time, I was living in Germany and I had gotten food poisoning after traveling back from a country. And I was so sick. I was not eating, not taking anything. And it had been 4 or 5 days. It was really bad. I was too afraid to go to the hospital, one, because I was afraid I couldn't translate. But two, I just didn't want to deal with everything. But my friend said, no, we have to go. So I went. Tell me why we didn't have to wait on an emergency line. I was in the emergency room looking around. I was like, where do I sign in? Where's the line? Where are all the people? And they're like, no, you can go right in and go sit down. We'll be right with you. And I literally walked straight into the office, straight in. And while I was struggling to explain what was going on, they brought in 5 different doctors of each different one, and it only took them 5 minutes to come each time when they realized they couldn't help me. It was somebody else they needed. And I didn't have to pay anything on top of that.
What is one time that made
That just sounds so beautiful. That just sounds like what is it? A utopia of hospitals that she went to. That's what that sounds like. But girl, food poisoning for 5 days? It lasted what? Yeah, I don't know what you ate. What? I had food poisoning for a day, but 5 days. You should have been to the hospital on the second day. Most people say first day, but I survived that day. So the second day, though, definitely, because if I'm not eating right for 2 days, oh no, my body's going through it.
They couldn't help me. It was somebody else they needed. And I didn't have to pay anything on top of that.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up? I'll go first.
I'm not American, however, I think it's messed up how Americans have no right to paid annual leave.
Facts.
Whereas in my job in the UK, I get the equivalent of just over 8 weeks.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
So I didn't realize this until I moved abroad, but Americans have a very strange concept of freedom. Like, when you're growing up, you're always told that America is such an amazing place and, you know, it's the land of the free, home of the brave, but, like, I keep hearing these criticisms from people like, oh yeah, but America has the most freedom. Wow, yeah, freedom. I mean, there may be...
Go ahead, do that one more time. Do it one more time.
Freedom. Wow, yeah, freedom. I mean, there may be a few exceptions or nuances, but in the UK, you're still free. Like, that is the biggest lie that Americans are ever told, that there aren't other free places. Like, I don't understand. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I feel like the concept is kind of destroying American democracy. How ironic. Like, they need to kind of understand that they need to work on things to make themselves better and more free for their citizens.
Times that made me realize growing up in America was seriously messed up, part 2. So, as you may know, in the United States, you pretty much need health insurance because not only is healthcare really, really expensive, but it's also almost never subsidized by the government. But I always had health insurance. I got it through my dad's company, except in 2008 when he was switching jobs. He had to file for new paperwork for health insurance. So for 2 days, we weren't covered. And like the little rascal that I was, I managed to...
I think I've seen this one in another video. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one.
Days we weren't covered. And like the little rascal that I was, I managed to break my arm during those 2 days. So for a full day and a half, I couldn't go to the hospital and get an x-ray or get a cast or anything, even though my arm was literally broken, just because it would have been way too expensive without health insurance. So I guess really the only takeaway here is how messed up the healthcare system is in the US, because I was covered and I still got completely screwed.
One time that made you...
Yeah. I can't imagine. Wait, broken arm. A literal broken arm, having to wait a day and a half with that. That had to be painful. But she's right. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Healthcare system definitely needs to change.
The system is in the US because I was covered and I still got completely screwed.
One time that made you realize that America really messed you up.
I currently live abroad in Spain and am under the public health insurance system. Before that, I had surgery to remove 2 ovarian cysts from my left and right cyst, and then was diagnosed with endometriosis, and my doctor put me on birth control to control my hormones and make sure that I would be okay and not have recurring cysts. So I get birth control here in Spain, and usually it is €3 under health insurance. One time I forgot to renew my prescription with my doctor here, and I went to the pharmacy and they told me it was going to be more expensive, and I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, it's going to be like $100, $200, and I don't know how I'm going to afford this. I was getting worried because I need to take the pills to regulate my hormones and make sure that I don't have recurring cysts. When the pharmacist rang it up, she told me it was going to be €6. What?
American currently...
It's crazy. It's so crazy that, like, we're legit scared to get go to the doctor, to go to the hospital, to get medicine, we're legit afraid of the price. Like, that is so sad. That is absolutely so sad. And it's baffling how we've been under this system for so long and nothing has changed. I don't understand.
€6. What?
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up? You're an American currently living abroad. What is one time that made you realize that America really...
So I'm living in Italy, and I guess for me, it's the fact that they don't have to practice active shooter drills throughout their entire educational life. Like when I told my boyfriend, who is Italian, that we have to go through every grade practicing active shooter drills, maybe 2-3 times a year, he was appalled. He said, yeah, like fire drills, definitely, but guns? Guns? Like, no. Good job, America. Round of applause. You really outdid yourself on this one. Good job.
American currently living...
I feel like at my school, we didn't do it that much. It wasn't every grade level every year. But I feel like we did. I mean, we did do it. We did do it. It just wasn't as often. But after shooter drills, that never make sense to me, because if the person is like a school shooter from the school, they're going to know exactly the entire process of where you're going, what you're doing, know what I'm saying? What's the protocol? They're going to know the entire protocol. And so really you're in a worse situation because they know everywhere you're going to be and everything that you're going to do. But keep it rolling.
Round of applause. You really outdid yourself on this one. Good job.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
One of my favorite questions. All right, so last summer I had to go see a doctor, get an x-ray, and something else. I don't remember. And this was all in the same visit. And I go downstairs, go pay my bill. And I asked the lady, I was like, hey, where do I go pay? And she told me and then she just said they'll mail it to me. And then I was like, all right, do you by any chance know how much this is going to cost me? Because in my head, I'm freaking out because this would cost me thousands at home. And she looked at me and she's like, between 13 and 16 euros. And I'm just like... And the best part was I went to go see another doctor about 3 months ago for something else. And I realized I never got the bill for the last visit. I asked the lady, I was like, do I have to pay for my last visit? Because I never got a bill. She looked it up and she's just like, no, you don't got to pay. I'm like, oh, okay, America. Oh.
It's bad. It's truly baffling. It's just, I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. I just don't get it. That's all we got for this one. You guys got a favorite video you want to see me react to, you can subscribe to Patreon, or in the description section there's the Google form link. Hit the link, fill out your suggestions, send it to me. Want me to get to yours faster, fill out premium. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media and Patreon, all up top. You can subscribe to any of it, put all the links in the description. All you got to do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy D Neal, out.